once I had the race rules live a day to grow and touch the bud and stone my blood stew.
What's up, guys? I'm Tyler Hosley, and I'm back. I'm back from my 11th Florida hurricane. I survived 11 of these motherfuckers, but I'm back.
Yay!
We are glad you're back, T.
Yeah.
Glad
Well,
you're safe and well.
We're glad you survived this
Well,
time.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
next week we got to watch your pick, and we might not feel that way then. But right now,
Yeah.
we're
You might
very
wish I blew
happy.
away. You might wish I blew away next week, but hey, just I'll go with it for now.
I'm Kevin Matthews, Scottish film fan living in England, and this week I know that I'll be raging if Google fucks us again, and then I've just stayed up this late and will be very tired tomorrow, and people can't hear us in the normal ways, because I still haven't heard Tyler's comments from last week, because I didn't click on the video link, because I know that Google will fuck us, and then it makes me sound like Joe Pesci in like Lethal Weapon 3. I'm just feeling fucked because Google fuck us, and we're fucked. Other than that, it's all good though.
I'm Dave Gray, and this week I learned my line is like the line I will not cross is wearing a furry mascot costume as my niece runs around being a meddling kid. And this is Raiders of the Podcast.
Yay, but also boo.
I know.
Wait,
Well,
why are you not doing that?
because they're hot and I sweat. Like, I'll clean up her messes when she goes to meddle with, fallen rich people who are running scams for diamonds and shit, but I'm not doing it in a furry costume. I'm just not. That's my line. It's too hot. Unless it's winter. I might do it if we're at like a ski lodge. I might full Scooby-Doo then. But besides that, no. You're just going to have to deal with Dave as Dave. That's all.
Could you at least do a full, like, I mean, you could do the full Shaggy cosplay.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll definitely do that. Sure.
Yeah.
And I'll even talk like this, man. I mean, like, I will find that middle range that Shaggy lives in. I can't do it right now because my throat's a little messed up. But I will find and live in that middle range. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Just not the furry costume. This week, what other movies did I watch this week? I don't even remember now. I didn't watch anything that was worth watching. I watched the original Embrace the Vampire, but I'll talk about that later. I watched Dad's Head.
Hey!
Head in a Bag, whatever. It was fine. I didn't like it as much as Kevin did, but it was fine. I would have preferred it if it had been a sequel to Head of the Family.
Yeah.
Head of the Family is just a lot of fun.
But importantly, did you prefer it to the Babadook? Too close to call for you?
Yeah. I'd put him about even. Is where I'm sitting right now. I see why somebody might put it ahead, but I wouldn't actually say I did. Besides that, nothing worth mentioning. Everything else I watched was just, I don't want to talk about it because it was not good.
Didn't you watch the same film that I watched for Movie Monday, which had a humanist vampire?
Oh, yes. Shit, I thought that was last week. I did. I loved that. Never mind.
I think it was this week.
Was it this week?
I might be getting confused.
Oh, then I watched a humanist vampire seeking consenting suicidal person, which is excellent. See, I thought that was last week. I thought I watched that before we recorded last week, but I could be wrong. I've been very busy, so my days are a little. So yeah.
I could be wrong. I thought Craig pointed out to me at the weekend, and I knew I had it lined up, and you got to it just before me.
I think you're right. I think it was Saturday and not Friday that I watched it. Now that I'm thinking about it, it was Saturday, not Friday. It is excellent. You should go watch it. It's the second French-Canadian film I've seen this year that was just fantastic. So much fun. Check it out. I loved it.
I also really liked that one, so I watched it, liked it. Yeah, it was really good. It was as enjoyable and slightly different as I wanted it to be, without just feeling like it was, concentrated quirk, which some of those movie experiments can feel like. I rewatched Gamera, Guardian of the Universe, because that was the next in my own kaiju journey.
Oh, did you see? Did you see? I don't mean to interrupt, but did you see? They're re-releasing Godzilla -1 with 13 more minutes. I'm going to go see that in the theater for a fourth time. I am so excited.
See that. I see, my memory is so bad. That is why it's another part of my OCD for reviewing, because then I can be like, oh, I did watch that movie. That's how bad my memory is. And especially when it comes to, I know Godzilla -1 is a great movie, but I just mean, especially when it comes to kaiju movies, that does feel separate and ahead of the pack. But all of these ones, like, I couldn't remember much of Gamera, Guardian of the Universe, and you made us watch it for the show, and I enjoyed it. But it was interesting to revisit it now, having watched all of the old Gamera movies and sort of knowing just a bit more of the background of the character, for want of a better word. But, you know, the little details that are part of Gamera lore, even though they spell out at the start of the film, but knowing that those are constant things, it made that more fun. I rewatched It and It Chapter 2. I think it was Vicky's first time watching those, and she quite enjoyed them. Like many people, I believe she preferred the first film, but she also said, oh, that was quite good, but I still prefer the old TV movie. And I was like, yeah, but you watched that when you were 10. So that is why it has scarred you for life. And we all feel that way because of Tim Curry's take on Pennywise.
Well, Tim Curry's better, and the kids are better. And the adults suck in both versions.
All I remember about the adults in the older version was John Boy's little ponytail. It's horrendous. His little rat tail at the back of his hair.
Pony, that is the best. That is the most, like, that is the best, most traditional 80s, 90s switch over hair ever. Fucking John Boy. I love you. Richard Thomas, I love you for that hair. Still do. I
really like the new movies. I think Skarsgård is really good. Like, it is a tough call. Like, oh, you've got to be playing this character that everyone loves and associates with Tim Curry, who freaked out a generation. I think he does really well. I thought the kids were really good. I actually liked them a lot more on this watch and felt that they did all have enough separate character while coming together as a group. And yes, it's my horribly minority opinion that I like Chapter 2 as much, because it's made by people who are like, yeah, fuck it, let's just throw in like all these crazy scenes that were either in the book or implied in the book or stem from the madness of the creature at the heart of everything, and we can just go wild with how it shapes reality around it. And I kind of like that. I can see why people wouldn't. I just thought it was sort of fun after I wouldn't say the first part is restrained, but obviously it is slightly more grounded compared to what you get in the second part. But I think they work as complementary pieces without feeling like it's just retreading, you know, every similar scene. So yeah, big fan. I watched Mads today, which is the new film from the or I think he co-directed them, aka Eels, the French horror from about
like
about 18 years ago now.
Yeah, that's been a long time.
Yeah, like he's been doing other stuff, but we won't go on too much about the I remake. But he's made some interesting choices. This is really good, and I think Tyler would really like this. Like, really like it. It starts with a guy picking up some drugs from a dealer, so that's one point in favor of Tyler enjoying it. And there are hidden cuts, but it's done in a kind of one-shot style, but not in a way that has you sitting there every 2 minutes thinking, oh, they're showing me how well they've done this one-shot style. It feels nicely organic and propulsive, and is a nice spin on the kind of potential. It's almost like an infection movie, the infection zombie subgenre. It's really good, and you end up going between three different main characters, really, and their connections then kind of pass the baton between them. As I say, for some reason, I think Tyler would really like it. I got to the end and I was like, yeah, I really like that. And I was looking up details for it to make sure I get the names right and stuff when I'm writing my review. I think some places have listed the wrong actress who plays the girl in the middle section of the movie, and she is the highlight. Her name is Laurie Pavey. That's Pavy, so it could be Pavey or Pavy, but she's the highlight. But everyone in it is very good. So Tyler, let me know if you see that one, and I hope you enjoy it.
What was the title of it?
It's just called Mads, but it's like capital M-A-D, capital S at the end. So if you Google it, you immediately get loads of Mads Mikkelsen, which is always a good thing. But you have to put like Mads 2024. It landed on Shudder here today, so it should be over your way somewhere. All right. I dived into the film that dropped on Netflix called It's What's Inside, and that was a bit of fun. Someone turns up at a pre-wedding party. All these friends are getting together, but there's tension between some of them and some problems, and this friend has a machine that can basically allow you to spend some time in the body of whoever's wired up opposite. So, in theory, they're going to play a game. Do you Americans play a game called Werewolf?
Yeah, everybody plays Werewolf, Kevin.
Right.
They made a movie about the game Werewolf, about the VR version made by EA Games in the US.
Werewolves Within. Yeah,
that's it.
So kind of a Guess Who mystery game style, sort of. Yeah. So. Yeah, he comes up with the idea, let's basically play werewolf, but you all swap around, and if you're identified correctly, you'll put your Polaroid beside you. So that is a way to see who's in the body. And they try and make that work. And they do well, but it does get... There are one or two people pretending to be someone else while they're someone else. So it's a little bit layered in a way that makes it a bit trickier to keep following. And that's not helped by the fact that very few of the characters are actually that memorable from the start. Like you get the central couple who have been bickering from the opening scene. So you want to keep an eye on them and see where their, resentment or anger may go. You get the host who's brought this game, not the host, but the game host. And the others kind of, it wouldn't really matter too much anyway what body they were in, because you've forgotten them as soon as they've had their one scene. And last, it's sort of just mildly meh. I finally watched A Quiet Place Day 1, much to the chagrin of Dave, I'm sure. But
no, there was no Quiet Place after the first one. And that was terrible. So why would anybody make sequels?
Well, I will say I think this was better than the second film. I think it's helped by not having to revolve around the same characters again or try and extend their story. And the leads are good. I can't remember that guy's name from Stranger Things, and it's Lupita Nyong'o is there. She's great. But it is true that people have said it's kind of one woman trying to keep her cat safe for the for the majority of the movie.
I mean, to be fair, that's far more compelling than the children in the first two movies.
Yeah,
Those kids deserved it. Like they fucking deserved it.
it's it's Joseph Quinn is his name, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it
The guy
is.
from
Yeah, it's Joseph
Yeah.
Quinn.
So he and Lupita Nyong'o are good. They are both good enough in this. There are a couple of good moments with the beasties, but it feels like there's not enough. Like when you watch a film like this, when they're stretching out the premise, you can't help watching it and just thinking, we'll just sit somewhere and stay quiet. You know what I mean? At least in the first film, one of them ended up very, very pregnant and was about to give birth. Somebody, you know, she also stood on a massive nail and had to stay quiet there. There were things that felt like, oh, that's going to get them in trouble. Whereas with this one, you're just like, well, people know to stay quiet because, ironically, there are helicopters flying about with announcements telling everyone to stay quiet.
Wouldn't that cover any noise they made there by making her cat safe?
Well, it's not far enough. I think the noise is mainly covered when they're trying to talk if it's under rainfall and they're under, you know, scaffolding and that where rainfall's sitting. So they do include other noise covering their noise. But it's just, yeah, there's not enough added to the mix to make it. It's certainly not essential. But as I say, it was better than the second one, which maybe isn't saying much.
I still hold any sequel should have a tank blaring metal music with shotguns. That's it. That's all you need. Because that's how you kill them. They show you that in the first movie.
Yeah, well, and also in the first movie, I couldn't recall. I didn't have time to watch the other two, and I didn't have time to do any extra homework this week. I'm sorry, guys. But in the first movie, it felt like they were trying to go through the woods in the middle of nowhere, and then if someone made a noise, a creature would be close enough to land right beside them and try and kill them. It was almost like they were flying like locusts. Whereas in this movie, they're definitely not flying creatures. Maybe that was just me being mistaken there. But then it just makes the first movie feel like, oh, it's a massive coincidence that they were swarming over the planet and one would always be close enough to hear, you know, if a child dropped a toy truck in the middle of some woods, because that's where you got to sit perched to listen out for your prey. Maybe I'm just overthinking that, and they do swarm everywhere and jump around everywhere that quickly. But yeah, it's just
No,
one of
because
those
none show
things.
up until after the. God, I hate that first movie. Sorry, just fucking John Krasinski is just like white mediocrity writ large. I don't get why they keep pushing him on us. He's terrible. His movies are terrible. A Quiet Place is one of the most insulting fucking movies. Man, fucking hate that movie.
I really liked it. I think it did well enough while it was on.
It has a woman give birth in total. Do you know what's impossible? Pushing out 8 pounds through a vagina in complete silence. That's
all
impossible.
I'm saying is, it did well enough while it was on to distract me enough to be like, yeah, this is good. Whereas every other installment makes you think more about the creatures or the full situation, and you're just like, well, sit down and stay quiet. Well, if they can't fly, are they just jumping around and landing near people that make noise? Well, why are there helicopters going about and making noise? You know, you end up with more questions. And the last thing this movie series needs is time for you to have more questions.
That's right. It needs a tank, metal, and shotguns.
I agree with you. I mean, just do a crossover with Duke Nukem, and we are there. That would be A Quiet Place. Come get some.
Oh, I would watch that. I would watch that so much.
Yeah. That was me.
So, because I didn't get to talk about it last week, I went to the theater and I saw Joker 2, which I think is a fucking masterpiece. And it's a shame people can't see that. It's the ultimate fuck you from Todd Phillips. I mean, he took the cultural zeitgeist of what the fans created of that first movie and said nope, and he just burned that shit straight to the ground. The musical set pieces are great. Phoenix and Gaga are great. Actually, Gaga's portrayal of Harley Quinn might be my favorite portrayal of Harley Quinn ever. I think she's great in this. The ending is great, and it's making fanboys cry, which is also great. So yeah, I loved it. That was great. I saw more, but I saw Terrifier 3, which I really liked a lot. If you like the series.
Oh, so did I.
I was saying, you saw this the same day,
Totally,
didn't we? So, yeah.
we did. I totally forgot I saw it.
I really liked it. If you like the series, you'll like this. If not, you're about to hear someone that does not like the series. You won't. I'm a fan, especially of the first. I think the first is great. I like 2. I liked some of 2. It's a little overlong, and I could do it with or without the sword shit. It's just 2's good, but I just don't like it as much as 1. I much prefer 3. I like the Christmas setting, which is shocking because I fucking hate Christmas, but I think it works here. I think the cast is actually a lot better. The what's her name, Lauren Laverne from the second one, she's great here. She does PTSD really good. It's a really solid sequel. It's really fun. I really enjoy it. But like I said, I really enjoy the Terrifier movies. So if you dig them, you'll like it. If not, you'll be like Team Dave with this one. So I watched other shit, but I honestly can't remember what else I've watched. It's been like 2 stuff, but so yeah, that's me.
I totally forgot Terrifier 3. It exists. I like the scene in the mall. That's all I have to say about that.
You like the scene in the bar too, right? With Dan.
Oh, I did.
Dan
You're
Roebuck.
right. I did like the scene in the bar.
Yeah. Well, it's
yeah.
because it's got Dan Roebuck and Clint Howard in it. So
Yeah, well, that's exactly. That's exactly why I liked it. It's like, oh, hey, it's fucking Clint Howard in a Christmas horror movie, which, fuck yeah. This week we watched the. I'm gonna go backwards in time this time. The 2014 Austrian horror comedy Therapy for a Vampire, the 2013 erotic horror direct-to-video remake Embrace of the Vampire, and the 2000 dark fantasy vampire adventure anime Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust. Hey T, since you weren't here last week, how about you pick a movie and tell us about it?
I would love to. I'm going to go with Dave's pick, Vampire Hunter D,
Yay!
which is about Doris Lang, who is chosen as the next bride for the vampire Count Magnus Lee.
Dude, you watched the wrong Vampire Hunter D.
I did? Which one did I watch?
You watched the first one. We were watching Bloodlust. The other one.
Motherfuck. Well, this is going to be really weird then.
Wait, is that...
Well...
I didn't even know what Tyler had started to describe there, and then I don't know how you clicked it was wrong one. What did you say, T, about the plot?
Well, it's about Dolores Lang, and she's the bride for Count Magnus Lee, and she hired. It's the first one, right? That's
the first movie's excellent, also, but they're not connected. Yeah.
But Dave didn't pick the first movie because he's a bastard, and he thought I would hunt down the first movie and try and spend my week just binging Vampire Hunter.
Never actually thought that. I thought, hey, I have Vampire Hunter D on DVD, Bloodlust, and it's awesome. Let's watch that. Well, that was my thought process.
Well, let me do Therapy for a Vampire then, and I'll just
I'll
just describe my thoughts for the first one at the very end.
That's my bad. The first one's awesome, so I can't wait to hear your thoughts on that too. So when we watch the first one, you can watch Bloodlust.
It's great. It's just, I mean, should I just describe what I thought on the first one then? I mean,
yeah, let's go for it. Fuck yeah.
All right, fuck it. Well, this is gonna be really awkward, but I've actually, this is really stupid because I've actually seen Vampire Hunter D before. I mean, it's been many years, but I've seen this one. I think it's one of the best looking animes I've ever seen. The animation is just, it's fucking stunning all across the board. It's a beautifully animated film. But like you said, I as you guys know, I don't watch a lot of anime. It's just a genre I personally don't seek out unless the content really appeals to what I like, or unless Dave gives me a recommendation. And Dave's recommendations are always solid when it comes to anime. So, but this one though, I watched this one on my own many years back, and I watched it on my own again, which apparently I watched the wrong fucking pick. But I really like the hybrid mix of like gothic horror and post-apocalyptic Western vibes. It's such an awesome mashup of genres, and it just works so well in this story. I love the monsters. It's got some great world building. Dee is a fucking awesome character. The story itself, it's a bit thin on plot, but that's really my only complaint with the movie itself. Voice cast is great. It just makes me want to seek out more of this character, and it makes me want to seek out the manga to see more of this particular character. It's solid stuff, and Dave mentioned some stuff that wasn't included in probably any of these. So, and if it was, it would have easily been my favorite movie of the week. But either way, it's still really good. I really like the first one, and hopefully I'll get to the second one now because I was supposed to watch it tonight. But
you will love the second one.
Okay,
you really will.
I'll watch it. I'm gonna watch it next week, and you'll just hear my thoughts about it next week. So.
Nice.
My bad.
I'm shocked that hasn't happened more often here.
Yeah. I mean, next week we've got to see how many versions of T's pick we'll watch. So, because it's quite a very common title from what I know.
All right. Well then,
I watched the right one, Dave.
Nice.
But I haven't seen the first one. It is an IP that I'm aware of, have been over the years, but funnily enough, haven't read any of the source material. I'm taking it as a manga.
Well, there is a manga, but it's actually a book series. There's 55. I think currently there's 55 novels in it. 55. It's been around for a long fucking time. Right,
and written for the screen and directed by the guy who did Ninja Scroll as well, Yoshiaki Kawajiri, and Wicked City, which I've seen, and I cannot really recall, but I kind of liked it, which I can see by my ratings and stuff when I looked this up.
We did Wicked City for Japanuary.
Oh well, that is not a surprise. Yeah, it's. I did enjoy this, but it felt like a weird kind of middle ground. But it's probably more in line with how anime is when it's focused on the characters and the action, rather than insane amounts of bloodshed and maybe some extra scenes of hentai porn that I assume is in a lot of more adult oriented anime, but it's not. It's maybe just Legend of the Overfiend that got me working with that assumption for years. I do like the combo of the sort of monster mashing and the Western vibe, particularly in a scene where they're sort of in a small town saloon, and the characters are, I mean, there's some good creations here, an interesting mix. It's a simple quest tale, really, and then towards the back end you get another character in that mixes things up a bit more. So I had fun with this, Dave, but it didn't blow me away. I don't know. I think I did expect it to be a bit bloodier, even just in the kind of standard, perhaps bathing in blood vampire way. I know there are some moments that are in that vein, no pun intended, but it just felt like it held back slightly. But as I say, not being familiar with the source material, maybe that's just completely in line with how it is, and they were being faithful with this adaptation. But it's plenty to enjoy. It's pretty well paced. I wasn't actually lost and I appreciated that, Dave. You get the little opening text getting up to speed. Everything's pretty well handled. It's all clear, and as you find out more about the central characters, it's quite easy to see where people's loyalties lie and how things are pan out with the fights and the chasing. So yeah, it was a decent bit of lightweight, nicely animated fun.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's you, because that
Yes,
sounded like
yeah.
you were done. Okay, good. I love Vampire Hunter D. I love the original anime, which we will cover eventually, and Tyler will be really happy to use those notes. I love the books. I haven't read all the books. I've read more of the books than I want to admit. Honestly, I've read, like, not all of them are in English, but I know folks that have, like, done fan translations for years. So I've read like 35 of the 55 books. I've read a lot of them. And I love the series. It's a blast. And it's one of those series that's kind of cursed. Every few years, somebody tries to start an adaptation. Like, there is a manga, but it only goes through like the first 7 books. And there's another one that only covers like the middle 20 to 25. And there's been a ton of like TV series announced that start production then just disappear, and sequel movies that are announced and start production and just disappear. So it's like a kind of cursed series. So whenever one hits, it's usually pretty good. This one was made by Madhouse, and Madhouse is one of the go-to anime studios since like the mid 70s. They did Hunter x Hunter and Overlord and Frieren, which just aired this year. I haven't seen that one. Folks went crazy for it. They're just one of those big ones, and their animation here is absolutely spectacular. The backgrounds are gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. The character designs are really nice. The book series are all they have multiple illustrations, but they're originally illustrated by Amano Yoshitaka, who is best known for doing the illustrations for Final Fantasy ever since Final Fantasy 1 until did he do I think he probably did the latest one also. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Probably. So they're reminiscent of that without actually being direct copies of that. Yeah, he did actually. No, he just did the logo of the design of the most recent Final Fantasy. I looked it up while talking. But it's reminiscent of that. It looks good. Again, the backgrounds are excellent. The fights are some of the most fluid and gorgeous ever animated. It is excellent. Yes, the plot is not the best, but Vampire Hunter D, the book series, is more about vibes than anything. Like, nothing's ever really explained. D's past is never brought to light. There are 55 books in, and it's always about what is going on in that story. The Marcus brothers are really good semi-antagonists. Meyer Link is an interesting character. It brings up a lot of neat stuff, and it's a really solid anime. I don't have a lot to say. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. If you have seen it, you're probably sitting there thinking, yeah, that's a really good one. I should rewatch that. You should rewatch it. It is a lot of fun. It's based on the 3rd book, Demon Death Chase. It goes kind of way different towards the end, but it's a good one. It is a fun time. It is worth looking up. Go for it. Yeah, I mean, that's, I'll just repeat the same things. I'm a big fan of Vampire Hunter D. It's a shame it is not a stronger media presence overall. I'm going to follow this up with Kevin's pick, Therapy for a Vampire, which is 2014 Austrian horror comedy written and directed by David Rüehm. It stars Tobias Moretti, Jeanette Hayne, Cornelia Ivakin, and Dominic Oli. It is about... Oh, Lord. It is about a depressed vampire, Count Geza Von Kösznöm, visiting Sigmund Freud in 1932 Vienna to whine about his centuries-long unhappy marriage he's married to Countess Elsa, who is desperate to see herself, but is unable to because, a vampire, and apparently cursed because no one can paint her portrait either. There's a magic thing going on that's never explained, but whatever. Fortunately, Ziggy also knows painter Viktor, who he hires to illustrate his monster sex dreams. And Viktor has a girlfriend named Lucy. Lucy is way too good for Viktor. But, it's a movie, so that's going to end in a way that's disappointing for everyone with taste and reason. It just happens Lucy looks just like Count Geza's long dead ex. And hijinks ensue. I fucking hated this movie. Humor, as we have said a bajillion times on this podcast, is highly subjective. And for comedy to work, it either lands for you or it doesn't. And for me, Therapy for a Vampire does not land. The jokes are obvious, they're old, they're stale, they're lazily done. The cast is atrocious. Actually, no, I lie. Most of the cast is atrocious. Cornelia Ivakin is adorable and wonderful and should have an amazing career from here on out. She is a ray of sunshine in a field of shit. All these jokes are overdone and moldy and dusty and just trash. Like, they don't even use Freud well. And they kind of forget about Freud for a whole fucking hour. So it doesn't even lead into its gimmick. It's just, here's the most obvious vampire jokes we can do. Ha ha ha. Aren't we goofy and fun? And you're not. You're desperate and sad, and no one should watch you, and you should be forgotten about. And maybe if there is a just and loving divine creator of the universe, all copies will burn in a magic fire. But that's not going to happen. It's just there's no reason for this. This is just dull. Again, humor is ridiculously subjective. So I say these things and you might love it, and that's cool. I mean, if you enjoy it, I'm very happy if you enjoy it. But for me, this was more pain and more horrifically traumatizing than anything Terrifier could ever do would be. I absolutely hated this, and the ending made me want to choke on my own tongue. Okay? Not a fan.
Yeah, let me start off with the things I liked. I thought the wardrobe was fine, and some of the set decoration was nice. It's got a good visual aesthetic, and that's it.
I can say something nice. That car was awesome.
Yeah, that was a cool car. I'll give it the car.
That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got to. I hated this a lot. Just insert humor, subjective line here. It kind of feels like they were going for a what we do in the shadows kind of tone, which didn't work for me. I also kind of hate that movie and that show, so that could be the reason why. I don't think any of this humor lands. None of the jokes land. It almost felt like Carry On with vampires, which is really fucking gross. Nothing should ever feel like Carry On. Kevin sent me a Carry On movie once, and my collection is still crying from it. It's just tainted forever in that movie. This was a fucking chore to get through. I'm completely with Dave. Hated the cast, hated the tone. I swear to God, it felt like it was never going to end. It honestly feels like I'm still watching this movie, and I can hear it in the background still, and I haven't watched it since like last Tuesday. But yeah, I couldn't believe this was 88 minutes long. It just felt so much longer. But I don't have much else to add. Humor is super subjective, and I'm just going to completely copy what Dave said. If you find this funny, then good, because it just didn't work for me. It's just not my kind of style, not my kind of humor, not my kind of style of comedy. I was not a fan. Sorry, Kevin.
No, it's fine. I did hope that at least one of you would enjoy it as much as I do, but it wasn't to be. Because I realize in my time going to film festivals, this was one of the highlights for me, and
that explains so much.
No, I enjoyed it as much this time, Dave. So screw you. I also, but films that feel like proper discoveries and didn't just feel like, oh, I've enjoyed this at a film festival. Like the Zip and Zap movies I discovered at film festival because it was Zip and Zap and the Marble Gang. And I just picked that at random and went to see it. And one that I'm really hoping you've watched by now, Dave, is like that French Canterville ghost tale from what is it? It's about 2016.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Oh, well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. That was a good. I love that tale, and that was a really good slight reworking of it. Like
Yeah,
I love that more than this.
That one was solid. Le Fantôme de Canterville. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's like I probably wouldn't, because that one is highly subjective. Also, I did enjoy that one more though. Yes.
Yeah. With this one, they do ignore Sigmund Freud for a large part of it, but I view him as just the framing device for it. I get what Tyler's saying about what we do in the shadows, but other than the short film, like this came out the same year as what we do in the shadows. I don't know if it was before or after. I can't remember the timing, but it was it's riffing in a similar but different way because we've had stuff like that before. I can't remember.
It was actually a year before what we do in shadows.
Oh, there we go. So at least it's not just slavishly copying them. I think 2010 or 2012, I remember seeing some mock doc just called Vampires. It might have been a Polish or Russian movie. So this has been kind of in the air for a few years at that time. But I like the way this is done. I think it's handsomely produced. I really like the production design and the style of it. I do like that car. I like the performances. I think they work for what they are. I really like Tobias Moretti and Jeanette Hayne as the Count and Countess. I think they're great for those roles. I mean, I agree with you, Dave. Is it Ivankin? Cornelia Ivankin, who plays Lucy, is a highlight. And it's important that she is, because she's that typical woman that a vampire sees and thinks, this is my lost love I will cross oceans of time to be with. So that's good casting there, particularly. But yeah, I really like the leads here. I think the little touches that are obvious are also fun, and they're presented in a nicely polished way that just, I mean, it makes it feel like this has been done with a bit of care. I know the jokes are obvious, but they're placed in a context of attempted normality around them. So that's what separates this for me. It's not actually one constant gag after another in that way. It's placing these vampires and their issues in the world and showing how their behavior ends up, affecting one another and those around them as much as the vampiric side of things. I like that. And I like the fact that you get a couple of moments where a vampire has to be forced to count lots of things that are dropped on the floor, which is from, I can't recall, it's some, it is part of some European vampire mythology, isn't it? That.
It's been used a few times. Obsessive compulsive vampire thing.
So I like this for what it is. I like it a lot. I think it's a vampire comedy that is a bit different from the many other vampire comedies that make the jokes in a more obvious way. And I wasn't sure how Tyler would feel about it. I thought you were going to like it, Dave, but no, it wasn't meant to be. You were too busy with your Vampire Hunter D bloodlust love this week.
Just
That's fine.
did not land for me. I mean, I do, but I mean, I'll agree. I appreciate a good reference to arithmomania.
Yeah, I would also, because we say about comedy being subjective and all that, you guys might never rush to recommend this to everyone, but I would like this as a title that people are at least aware of if they're trying the wide and varied selection of vampire movies out there. I think it doesn't deserve to be quite as hidden away and unknown as it is for those who would appreciate the comedy. Which then leads me on to Tyler's pick. The Embrace of the Vampire that doesn't have Alyssa Milano in it. Tyler. I mean, such an egregious oversight that someone mentioned that on Instagram or Facebook when I posted that this was your choice this week. It's just like, no, Alyssa Milano. That is the standard we're going for. This is the tale of a young woman who goes to a fancy schmancy school and joins a fencing club and eventually realizes there are bitey people there. That's it. The young woman's called Charlotte, played by Sharon Hinnendale. That's really the only person I want to mention. She's okay. Oh no, I will mention. Have I got her name the right way round? Is it Keegan Connor Tracy? Who I know best from Final Destination 2. Yes.
That is it. Yeah.
Yep.
She was, I think, or is, I don't know, quite a prolific Canadian actress. I think. I'm sure she was in quite a lot of movies and TV in one go, and it's when they were doing a lot of stuff in Canada. Although maybe I'm misremembering some details in. I think I'm right. She is someone I enjoy seeing pop up in films, usually. And in Embrace of the Vampire, she plays a character who feels like she's one of the Hocus Pocus sisters looking to read your tea leaves. And it's embarrassing, quite frankly. And I was grateful that she had the little screen time that she had and was just praying that she would have even less, because she was stuck there trying to just get away with her dignity intact. And I don't know that she did. I'm still undecided. I like her enough that I want the outcome to be positive, but I watched the scenes in this film and I don't think I can come to the conclusion that it ended well for her. Tyler, you surprised me though. I expected way more from this in terms of gratuitous nudity and sex. This was, I thought, well, at least there's got to be plenty of gratuitous nudity and sex. There was a little bit, but I did not get the sense of it being Tylerific while I was watching it. Just nobody felt sleazy enough. I mean, there's no actual horror here, so it is the sexy, sensual side of vampirism, which is, something that people like. But if it's not doing that, I was hoping the sexy would be sexier, and it's not. The script is terrible, like really, really bad, and the direction is, I guess, to be charitable, you would just call it competent and then leave it at that. There's nothing wrong here. Technically, I mean, was this a TV movie or was it just like straight to
video
DVD?
Straight to video.
Right.
Nothing
It feels
wrong,
very,
technically.
very close to a TV movie, unless I'm already remembering swathes of excess nudity and other scenes. But it felt like there are a couple of things they could have easily just cut out and had this like early evening on the Sci-Fi Channel or something. I didn't like it, but I probably would have liked it if it had been more Tylerific. So, it's kind of, I feel stuck between a rock and a hard place because most weeks I'm like, Tyler, please don't be so Tyler with us. And this week I'm like, Tyler, you should have brought the full Tyler.
No one ever wishes me to go Tylerific on this, so this is new.
No, that's not true. It happens. I mean, next week we'll totally not, but this week.
Oh yes, no, yeah. Next week's a different story.
If there was there's got to be something out there that is skateboarding vampires who spend their nights having sex in their coffins.
And if there isn't, you should do that. T.
Yeah. Do that. Just call it like Coffin Dodgers. That's it.
That's actually amazing. But
Yeah.
there is no skateboarding lesbian vampires out there for me to find on film, unfortunately. I did a Google search of lesbian vampire movies, and most of them are just like the foreign like vampiros lesbos, which we covered on here. But those are mostly just boring. So
there are hundreds of them, and one of them had to be better than this. So I'm going to disagree with a lot of what Kevin said. Keegan Connor Tracy is one of those actresses who shows up a lot, but is usually fucking terrible. And she is fucking terrible in this. That fucking accent, it's not just like offensive and racist as shit. It is like nails on a chalkboard horrific. Why? And she uses that accent in other shit. I don't fucking Canada. Fucking explain why you hired this woman to play a Romani so often when that is her accent for it. That is some microaggression, Canada. I did like her in the first season of Bates Motel, but that's just because I'm dirty.
I can't remember that. I don't think I said she was good. I said I like seeing her.
No, I know what you said. I don't even like seeing her most of the time. I listed the one time I like seeing her. The rest of the time, she's atrocious.
She's got to be in at least one X-Files episode, right?
She's in so much. She's in so much shit. And like, good for you. I mean, I'm glad she has a career that's, works for her. But she is atrocious. Most of the characters in this don't fucking matter, so I'm not even going to talk about them. The lead is Sharon Heinendahl, and she is fucking terrible. Like, yeah, she's attractive, but she has no personality or charisma or talent or ability to portray emotion. She is like a walking, breathing, inflatable doll. And I really hate saying that, especially given what this the plot line is. And the character, like this character has issues and they don't do anything with it. It's like, hey, here's her issue, but we're not going to mention that again. Fuck you for doing something interesting. She's bad. She's bad. I don't buy her at all. Her roommate, Nicole, is played by another prolific Canadian actress by the name of, I'm going to fuck it up so bad. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Kanahito Horn. I don't think I fucked it up as badly as I thought I was. She's been in like Hemlock Grove. She was in Letterkenny and Reservation Dogs. She pops up in a bunch of stuff. She's usually really good. She is one of the few highlights in this because she has personality and charm. And why the fuck isn't she the lead? I don't fucking know. Because the lead sucks. And do you know who else sucks? Fucking Victor Webster as our vampire. That man is almost as blank and bland as our lead. And I don't feel anything when they're together or with each other. They're just fucking there. We have flashbacks to a far more interesting vampire, but it's only like blips for a really stupid storyline. I also watched the original, and the original is better. Just watch the original. There's nothing in this that is worth anything. There's 3 sex scenes, and they are boring as fuck. Why does this exist? Who is this for? Why didn't they get the attractive team captain naked? But no, instead we have icky. It's icky and it's boring. Why is this a thing? Even the fencing isn't good fencing. Because of this movie, I'm going to show my niece Theater of Blood tonight. It has a better fencing scene with 2 elderly men than anything in this. It was just there and not good. Just watch the original. If you want to jerk off to vampires in a college, I'm sure there's a Misty Monday movie for you, or you can watch the original. I don't know why this exists.
Yeah, I knew I was going to be the lone opinion in this, but I actually really like this one. I think it's better than the original, which I also like quite a bit. That one feels like a midnight Skinamax flick, and this one feels like a more polished Lifetime Channel original movie, but with some tits and fucking.
See, that's your problem. You think Skinamax is under Lifetime movies, and it's not. It's not.
I'm not saying one. I'll get to it. There's a little bit of there's some lesbian content thrown in, and I mean maybe that's the reason why I picked it. You never know. And it does decide to turn into a vampire an hour in. So kind of maybe it's a horny college set Twilight. Maybe let's go with that. But I'm gonna say it right now. If you prefer the first, which is fine, you can prefer the first. It just means that you fucking stroked your dick raw to Alyssa Milano's tits, and that wank nostalgia is clogging your brain, right? Am I
it's
right?
not clogging my brain. They're better tits. I said it. I'll own it. She looks better naked than the lead in this one does.
Oh, but the lead is gorgeous in this. But yeah, I'm not saying Alyssa Milano isn't.
She has no personality. Personality is sexy. A blank is not.
I do like the lead girl in this. I don't know what it is. Maybe the fact that yes, she is very pretty. But I thought she was fine. I didn't really have any issues with her as the lead. I mean, I really haven't seen her in much after this. She was in a movie with Christian Slater called Rites of Passage that I have seen, which I don't remember her in, which maybe that's saying something. But that movie was not good from what I can remember. But I liked this one. I think she's about on par with Alyssa Milano in the original, just acting wise. I think they're about on par here. Visually, it looks fine, kind of TV movie-ish at times, but fine. I mean, the original look, like I said, is a Skinamax movie, and that's what it looked like. This college though has the hottest fencing team ever. Like, if you're looking for pussy on that campus, just join that fucking fencing team. I mean, they haze each other. They sometimes get drunk and eat each other out. I mean that's a wild ass fencing team, and that I would join in a second. It's definitely my kind of fencing team. They should just make a movie about fucking lesbian fencing teams and just have them just going down on each other and just take out the fangs. I would just watch that. You can make it a National Lampoons, you know? Does that make sense? Just make it National Lampoons.
Why would it be National Lampoons? Do you want them making jokes in between sex scenes? I know you don't want that.
If it's National Lampoon style humor, I'd be okay with that because I like National Lampoons. So I'm down with that. You can actually make it a vampire spoof, National Lampoons, about a lesbian fencing team, and I'd be all over that shit, and we'd be watching it.
I mean, Tyler, if you haven't already had enough of National Lampoon vampire gags in National Lampoon's Class Reunion, then you're just a glutton for punishment at this point.
I've never seen Class Reunion, actually.
Well, it has the
You
National
lucky
Lampoon
bastard.
vampire gags that you would want.
Doesn't seem like they would have a fucking vampire in it, but I've actually never seen that. So I will eventually. But yeah, you guys aren't gonna have any idea what I'm talking about. But this movie kind of feels like season 4 of the Vampire Diaries. This movie has a very similar vibe to that particular season, minus all the erotic stuff, obviously. But yeah, it's very similar tone and plot to Vampire Diaries season 4, which is a show that I really like. But yeah, I like this remake. It's not the greatest vampire movie of all time or anything, but it's an okay little erotic horror movie. I dug it for what it was. I saw it once in 2013 and I picked it because it was the first movie that came to mind that had vampires and lesbians. So that's why I picked it. So yeah, I dig it.
Dude, if I Google vampire lesbian movies and there's over 100 titles.
Oh, I know there is. For some reason, this is the first one that popped in my head. I don't know why.
Man, that's cool. It's time to pick one, and it should be Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, but it's not going to be Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust because, well, one of us didn't see it, and the other one is Kevin, so.
Well, because I can't vote for Vampire D, I actually haven't seen Bloodlust, so if it's between Embrace of the Vampire and Therapy for a Vampire, it's definitely Embrace of the Vampire.
God, for me too. Look what you did, Kevin. Look what you fucking did.
You're voting for Embrace of the Vampire?
No, I'm totally voting for Vampire Hunter D. I'm just saying if I had to choose between them, I agree.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a three-way tie because I'm the lone vote for the best film this week, Therapy for a Vampire.
There's no world where that is the best film this week. There's a world where Tyler saw the best film this week and I win, rightly, but it's not this one.
The first Vampire Hunter D is great, though. So I if I can vote for that one, I would.
It
That was
is.
really good.
I mean, you can. You watched it. You thought it was the right movie, so.
It was great.
Tyler, next week it's you and a new special guest. Why don't you tell us what we're watching?
We're going to have a strange case of deja vu here, guys. We're watching the Chilean exploitation film Trauma from 2017.
I can't remember what year it's from, but it is Chop, which I believe is directed by Trent Hager. Tyler,
yeah, it is. Yeah.
We're on Instagram, Raiders_of_the_podcast. We're on Facebook, where I sometimes remember to post stuff on Wednesdays. I remembered this week. Cool little vampire post. Go check it out. We have a YouTube channel where you can like, subscribe, and comment on Kevin's awesome videos weekly. And you can always email us at raidersofthepodcast@gmail.com.
Awesome. You could have picked Shiver of the Vampires, The Hunger, Lesbian Vampire Killers, The Blood Spattered Bride. I mean, just Carmilla. I'm just saying, We Are the Night.
We probably had so many. Oh, We Are the Night is really cool.
Yeah, Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. Vamps.
Okay, so the movie that I was going to pick, I had a movie that I was going to pick before Embrace of the Vampire. I forgot to mention it. I was going to pick Night Junkies, the 2000. It's not a lesbian movie, but it's the one where it's kind of like a metaphor for heroin addiction, but they use blood instead, and it's like a British movie.
Yeah.
I just couldn't find a link anywhere for it, and I was the DVDs I got to print, so I'm like, I'm not going to make you guys buy a fucking DVD for it. So, but that was going to be my original pick. Forgot all about it.
That was nice of you, because I wouldn't have made you pick by anything either. As always, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me, guys. Hopefully, our issues with our hosts will be fixed. They aren't as of recording, but maybe when I upload it on Sunday, it will be. If not, we're gonna shoot the dice with YouTube again, and we'll see. I'll make some changes to things, and maybe we'll get everything to work well. I'll make a small sacrifice to the Google gods.
And I think we should mention all of the replies to Tyler's question this week. Gave us a good load of titles to remember and discuss, and we appreciate people noticing that we are still there.
We do, because I forget we're here sometimes. So I don't
so
blame
many of
anyone
those
else.
Movies, Tyler, would have had lesbian vampires.
So many of those movies. As always, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll talk to you next week.
See ya.
See ya.
How come I can't see you in my mirror?